And to learn that relative intensity, I want you to pick out the fittest person in your gym, or at least somebody you see is at or slightly above your level if you want to start out, a little bit small, and push the pace with them next time you work out around them. Recording ×2. So I am trying to decide whether or not I like the black or if I'm going to go with a different accent tone. But at least for now, I think it looks pretty cool. Obviously, it's going to be painted instead of cloth, so I won't have any of those weird ripple shadows, but I just wanted to test out black since I had the cloth. That's it for that weird little intro. What's up, crew? Welcome to another video. My name is John Connie, aka Big Man Syndrome, and if you're not a part of the crew, well,
you are tearing me apart!
Today is going to be a different Motivational Monday because I'm going to try to change how I approach this sit and talk. Before, I did 2 of them. I was going through sort of what was on my mind as far as anything in general. Now I want to try to refine that, since this is a fitness channel, since that is the primary goal of my content, is to speak to those who are trying to understand fitness or are just in the world and want content that has to do with it. So today I picked the topic of intensity, and workout intensity to be specific. Intensity is often misrepresented by thought or even action. On the high end, some people think of intensity as going as hard as possible, PRing every single time you lift weights, or pushing so hard that you end up puking. And then on the low end, you have those who feel like, once they've started breathing harder than normal, they started sweating, or they're feeling a little bit of pain, they've gone hard enough and they're working out intensely. There's a middle ground, but really what it comes down to is knowing how to understand intensity is a skill, and it takes practice. And what I'd like to sort of introduce, if maybe you haven't heard this before or you don't have this mindset when it comes to working out, is there's this thing called relative intensity. Understanding the type of workout that you're entering and understanding your capacity to perform the movements in succession of each other. A prime example of this is a workout that would include a heavy clean and jerk followed by a row, a cardiovascular movement. So if I was to separate those two individually, a heavy clean and jerk is not very hard for me. That's kind of my wheelhouse. That's something that I would be really, really good at. And if you were to put me on a 3,000 meter row up against somebody, I might do pretty well because I'm tall and I have power driving out of that catch position. However, you combine the two and now you have something that's going to make me breathe really, really hard, and something that's really, really heavy. Individually, not a problem. Together, now if you were to, let's build a workout really quick. One 315-pound clean and jerk, which is middle weight for me, and 500 meter row. And you're going to do 3 rounds. 1 315, 500 meter row. 315, 500 meter row. Combining those two makes it a lot more challenging to get that 315 off the ground, because after I've pushed my legs and my lungs, I'm gonna have to go and try to pick up 315 pounds. So what I would probably have to do is use that 500 meter row instead of maxing that out, which I could probably get it done in a minute 30 or less. What I would rather do, instead of go 120 for 500, I'd probably use that as a rest, so that when I jump off that row and I go to a 315, I can still complete the weight. That's sort of a competitive mindset too. In general, the mindset is to allow yourself to move from movement to movement without having to rest a ton. An even better example for relative intensity is a Fight Gone Bad. You have 5 different movements. You can pick your strengths and decide where your intensity is going to maximize the overall score in general. So I'm sort of doing a brain dump, and if it's hard to follow, let me know down in the comments and I'll try to structure these a little bit better. I'm sort of moving from whatever comes up in my mind to talk about this relative intensity. So talking about Fight Gone Bad, this is where relative intensity can be a little sticky, and it's up to you to gauge it appropriately. And like I said, it takes practice. It takes many, many different times to work out, and sometimes it even takes listening to the coach that's watching you work out. But in Fight Gone Bad, if you allow yourself to choose relative intensity inappropriately, you can end up sandbagging on certain movements and blowing it out in other movements. But what we want to do is find that amount of work that we can do to maximize the movement that we're doing, the reps that we're getting in, and not pushing ourselves so hard that at the end of the workout we're no longer able to move, or pushing too little to where at the end of the workout you feel like, oh man, I could have gotten at least 10% more or 20% more or whatever it is. Getting to that point where you feel like you can choose that relative intensity is something that takes practice, like I said. And I mean, prime example for myself, like a real world example, coming out of football, my thought of intensity was that high end. I had to go as hard as I could all the time, every time, 10 yards and done. That's pretty much all my mindset was. I would hit 10 yards and I'd be done at least for 30 seconds. Then I entered the CrossFit world and realized that it's not about quick bursts. And the perfect example for that is Isabel or Grace. These two workouts are 30 of either clean and jerks or snatches. Grace being clean and jerks, snatches being Isabel. The first time I ever did that, I thought, oh man, I gotta get through this as quick as possible. I'm just gonna grip and rip and just hammer it through, touch and go as many times as I can, unbroken, as fast as possible. I realized really quickly that that was a bad strategy, and here's how I stepped away from that and started to learn relative intensity. I picked the fittest person in the gym, or at least somebody who was fitter than me that I can see was crushing the workout, and I watched what they did. A lot of the guys that were crushing these workouts, getting better times than me on workouts where the weight was nothing, were just over half my size. I was 300 pounds coming out of football, and most of these guys were like 180 to 200 max. So to see them crush me in a weightlifting workout was just mind-boggling. But as I watched them more, what I started to realize was they were pushing to their capacity. They were pushing the sets unbroken to what they could do. Some of them were doing 3s, some of them were doing 5s. I was trying to get maximum reps done at a time, so I was doing 10s. At one point I did 25 in a row, dropped it, and I had to take such a big rest that it really just ruined the time. And saw that there's this idea of relative intensity. It's something where you find how fast can you go in each moment to maximize the entire workout so that you don't blow it all out in one portion or go too slow and end up exaggerating the workout. What I'd like for you to take out of this quick sit and talk is understand that every single workout is not going to require you to go as hard as possible. If it's programmed max lift, yes, you need to try to PR. Never match a PR, never even get close to matching a PR. Always go for a heavier weight, but that's if it's programmed that way. If it's set 5x10s, don't try to max out your 10s all the way through. In a workout, when it's a WOD, there's 3 different movements, they have a bunch of sets, and there's a time domain, or you're doing it for a time, unless it's a benchmark workout. Don't go so hard that you're puking in the back, unless it's competition. Unless there's a reason, like a benchmark workout, for you to try to PR the time. Find the intensity that's going to allow you to grow within the sport or within your life, whatever it is you're looking to increase. And to learn that relative intensity, I want you to pick out the fittest person in your gym, or at least somebody you see is at or slightly above your level if you want to start out a little bit small, and push the pace with them next time you work out around them. Watch how they move from movement to movement, because clearly they're doing something different that is allowing them to do better than you. Follow what they're doing and see if you can push the pace like them. What I ended up finding was I pushed a little too hard in the beginning, because like football, you hit 10 yards as hard as you can, and I saw that most guys were sort of pacing that first little bit, allowing themselves to warm up into the workout. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that's a good takeaway. Let me know down in the comments what you think. If you're listening to this, I do plan to post this in a couple different ways. I might even try to put this down as a blog post. This will be on the YouTube channel if you're part of the crew on youtube.com/JohnConnie. This will also be on podcasts, which I'm not even sure where it ends up, but whatever ends up being approved, I think it might even be on iTunes, but it will be under the NSFW podcast. It won't be an episode. It'll be some sort of in-between episode, as Tim Ferriss calls it. And then, like I said, I might try to get it transcribed, which I hope there's a good program to do that quickly, and do a blog post. Trying to hit the content as hard as possible. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. If you're new, join the crew, wherever that might be, YouTube, podcasting, or a website. I don't even know how that would work because I'm not in that world. If you're not new, tap and go that like button, leave a comment, share this video or podcast, because that's how we grow the crew. And until the next one, I'll see you later, crew. I hope this sounded amazing. I got a new setup. I'm really excited. I hope you guys enjoy the little bit of an upgrade. This definitely like gets me excited. Not super sure I'm 100% with the two-tone split. I might try to push it to the side a little bit so that I have like more barnwood or more black. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for watching, or listening, or reading.
That is not the bad crew.